the near future, let's say the next 1 to 2 months, is the 2-chapter rule. I want you to read 2 chapters every day. And I want you to track this wherever you track your daily metrics. I do this. I write the word chap, C-H-A-P, colon, and I write next to it how many chapters of books I read that day.
2 chapters.
All I want you to do is hit 2 every day, no matter what it takes. Then we're going to work backwards from that goal to figure out how to. You also might want to try time blocking or reading blocking your day.
Oh, reading blocking.
You have an 8-hour workday, you're putting various time blocks, you've got meetings, you're doing emails, working on this project, just find a half hour in there, time block it for reading. That alone will get you to your 2 chapters. This is a case where leveraging the tools that we have optimized for work productivity can actually help you with this broader cognitive goal. Just hit 2 chapters a day.
That sounds great. Kyle, I just want to mention one last thing before we stop recording this. So I submitted this question to your podcast back in November. So I was asking about how to rekindle my reading habit, and you just gave this advice of reading 2 chapters every day. And I shared that with my audience, and I wanted to do that challenge with other people. So I started this challenge and people joined, and we started doing this since November last year, and like 4,000 people have done this, and it's ongoing. For this month, let's see, for May, 1,000 people are working on it. So it's an ongoing project.
Has your experience been positive? Like getting back like more concerted time, regular time in reading? I mean, what have you found the change has been in terms of your own life?
I think the most positive thing that I'm experiencing is I use less phone because I have a limited time, and then now I should read 2 chapters every day, which takes a long time for me because I'm like just getting started. I don't have time to use my phone. I just don't use Instagram, for example. I don't do Facebook as much. So that was one positive change.
That's great. I love it. Well, you know what? This is a classic example of digital minimalism, right? That like the way you get away from what feels like a negative relationship with technology is not the focus on how do I get rid of this negative thing.
Exactly.
You replace it with the positive. When you're really trying to rebuild your life around things you really care about, I love what you said. You just don't feel like there's much time or need to scroll Instagram or much time or need to go on Twitter, because this harder but more meaningful stuff, it fills the time in a way that feels way more fulfilling. So I love it. That's a great example. Now, is there a way that those of us who can find this? I mean, is there a thing, if I wanted to mention it, where does this exist? You mentioned an app.
So we read 2 chapters and share a brief summary, and then we do it on Band. This is an app, and they can post their summary, and then it will automatically track their progress. So
that's great. Okay, and so the app in which this lives, you said, is called Band?
Band, yeah, B-A-N-D.
Okay, I will push people towards this, because I think we should have more 2 chapter a day clubs. I mean, it's a little thing, but it makes a big difference, because it is a definitive, clear step towards, I want to take control about my non-professional time. You know, like, what do I actually want to do? Even if it's a little harder in the moment, and just that one step sometimes is the hardest. So I love this, and I'll keep the word spreading.
It's very popular. It's really helping. I think it works for me, and hopefully other people are enjoying it as much as I am.
Excellent, great.
I'm
going to mention one of my podcast episodes too.
Yeah,
so
please.
I was recording this episode, I was doing an interview about a world without email for a popular YouTube channel aimed at Koreans. It's called That Korean Girl. Shout out to Sunny. And Sunny was telling me that in response to a question she asked on this podcast, rather back in the fall, she'd asked a question about a reading habit, and I had given her this advice on the podcast about 2 chapters a day. It's just a simple way to reintroduce reading as an important part of living a deep life. And what she told me is, after that answer, she began talking about this with her subscribers, and it's a popular channel. You know, they have 120,000 subscribers, and it led to the formation of these reading group challenge groups, I guess. So this 2-chapter-a-day reading challenges where the groups would all come together on one of these challenge apps where you could, you have to actually go on the app and check every day, I did the thing. So you can join as a group and see, I guess, if the other members of your group have accomplished it. I think she said the app was called BAND, B-A-N-D. Anyway, she said this thing, this 2 chapters a day reading challenge has kind of taken on a life of its own. And as of most recently, she says there's now 4,000 people doing these 2-chapter-a-days reading groups. She said there's 27 different groups. It's all volunteer-led, and it's a lot of chapters being read every day. And I think there's a reason why this is catching on is because that's just the right amount. It's hard enough to matter, but tractable enough that you'll actually do it. And the thing Sunny said in this interview when we were talking, which I thought was important, is that she said once she began doing the 2-chapter-a-day challenge, she spent a lot less time on her phone, right? Because now there was an alternative. This became a meaningful part of her life, and it took time. The time that she was spending on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, increasingly got changed towards getting through those 2 chapters, which is something that's been much more deeply meaningful, feels much more satisfying. You feel much better about it when it's done. And of course, there's the value of the actual wisdom you're extracting from these books. So I like this advice. This is good real world data that this advice works.